to hug her and kiss her then too at the same time, and she wasn't feeling it then, and she was really not feeling it now. You know what I'm saying? She said, I'm going to do this for the Holy Spirit, because if it wasn't for that, I really wouldn't touch you with a barge pole. That's what her face was kind of saying to me. So I want to kind of get you guys' thoughts. What did you guys think of the Liz and the David situation? You don't have to just talk about the hug, but just the overall interaction throughout that whole process. What your kind of thoughts were. Lola, you've gone to it straight, so go for it.
So, we've talked about David. David's come on your show. He's been talking around his defense. So he's been pushing a narrative that we are recommending he requires help. But we're not the ones recommending him. His behavior is recommending that. So this is what I'm seeing. So finally we get to have this conversation with both of them sitting there. And of course, Uncle Nephew Tommy addresses him and said, sir, what was your intent? Were you trying to embarrass her when you talked about, did you kiss Jason again? Now, the thing is, David denies. First of all, he denied that he said that he said he meant it in a complimentary way. But the thing is, the best predictor of human behavior is past behavior. We've known Homie to be a bit petty, to be a little bit immature, and he always has this energy where he wants to keep talking, like he wants to be the only one talking. Like he'll overtalk both males and females. We've seen him do this. But with this conversation, he started off really like, no. So Uncle Nephew Tommy decides, hey guys, stop. But what I'm seeing now is, okay, so finally you claim that you meant it in a complimentary fashion. My sister Liz says that's not true. I can only believe Liz's story because Liz has been consistent in her portrayal. She has shown some signs of honesty. Now with David, the one thing I see with him is he kept going back and forth, but when he realized that he wasn't getting anywhere, then he copped to it and said, you know what, in fact, he didn't cop to it. He wanted to close it because he knew he couldn't push his narrative any further. So all he's saying is, well, I don't want us to split up or fight over a show. So you came on the show. This is you. And what I don't like is that the fact that he's still claiming that he had this self-elimination thing going on. That's when Uncle Nephew Tommy told her, look, the self-eliminations come through me. I didn't know anything of the sort. So clearly you were meant to be eliminated. But you said you were bigger than that. And so even though you had Stacey and Andrea, you did the conversation with them, you thought you were too good for it. That's when I think he kind of backed down and then turned to Liz and was apologizing. What I love about what Liz did was she has a way, well, it's maturity, of course. She has a way of letting him do what he needs to do, but cutting in at the right time. So when this man stands up in his, capris to give her a hug, I'm like, he was doing a little too much, but that's fine. You still have to hug her. I love the way she did, like the shoulder thing and leaned in. And even Nephew Tommy was laughing and talked about, yeah, that was a church hug. What could Liz do in that situation? I feel like she's been vindicated because even during that conversation, Stacey, I don't know what to do with Stacey. I don't know where to put her. I do like her a little bit more than I liked her before, but she's sitting feeling vindicated. Yeah, this clown is one who eliminated, because pretty much it looks like their conversation and their storyline is what led or helped her elimination, and she can see that. But what I like the most about this little segment, because I really don't care for David. David is here as an example for us to see. David is, and we've said this, David is, the brother in church who knows the scriptures, who knows what to say, but when it comes down to it, he really isn't what he preaches. In fact, the guy is actually dangerous because the thing is, the fact that we are watching him on the screen and he's still trying to spin a different narrative is interesting. But can you imagine him behind closed doors with somebody else? Some other poor sister who doesn't know who he is, will be second guessing herself. But the fact that he's out on the screen, it helps both for him and people like him, for sisters to realize you're not going to find you don't necessarily find your Mr. Right in church. Open your eyes and be very clear on who you're dealing with. Because as far as he's concerned, he's done no wrong. He has not acknowledged anything he has done. The same conversation he had with Stacey, he was pretty much pinning their misunderstanding on the fact that she had no active listening. This guy is the example of the church brother you should avoid. So please, sisters, because I always hear people say, they go to church and your brother, don't go to church, do that. But back to Liz. What I liked about this little segment here is after she spoke, when my boy Jason put that hand out and said, that's my, And that made my heart warm. So clearly I love this couple. David has nothing to say. He didn't really have a segment, but in his little short pants, I mean, he guessed he had to keep his position. But David is off. But I think what I'm taking away from this is I hope, because the truth is David is a handsome man. We can't take that from him. He is a good-looking man, and he quotes scriptures. Many women will be fooled by that. So I'm hoping a woman doesn't think that she's going to go there and change him, because he don't think there's anything wrong with him. I'm hoping a woman is not trying to change him, or another woman in a different situation realizes that she's in that same situation and just walks away. Because guys, David is bad news. He's bad news because it's one thing to be a devil, and I'm not calling him a devil. It's one thing to be a devil and say, oh yeah, I'm a bad guy, I'm a bad boy. But it's another thing to not even cop to what you are, but you are that thing. So that more or less is like, low-key, covert gaslighting. So he's acting like he's the good guy, but he's not the good guy. He's one of the most dangerous guys on the panel because he thinks his stuff doesn't stink. So yeah, that's my take on those two. So yeah, I was happy to see that. I'm happy to see that Liz, she got her moments, so to say. Because we could see, I think most people who are paying attention realize that when you're looking at who should you believe, because you're hearing a contrasting story, look at their past behavior and that's who you believe, and then leave it at that, because they couldn't get to anything. The only reason why he backed down was when Nephew Tommy said, you know what, guy, you should have just been eliminated instead of eliminating yourself.
Love that. Thank you, Lola. Lady, let me ask you a question so you can jump in here. Are we being hard on David? That's a genuine question I want to ask you guys. From a male perspective, maybe some males might not see it. I think most of us can see it, but I want to just ask, like, I want to play dumb, because this was all he did was he didn't really apologize on the show, and he hugged Liz. Why are we making a big deal of it?
Did you okay, so Nephew Tommy he softballed him. He said, look, this woman, she invited you out to dinner. She said she had something to tell you. You got to dinner. You started loud talking her. You stood up and you ran away. Like, can't you see how that looks bad? He's like, no, it doesn't look bad. And I'm going to tell you why. Everybody always leaves Liz. What are you talking about? Do you know what I mean? It's like, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. You're trying, and when she said, I tell everybody that's my testimony, I said, I know that's right, Liz. You will never be able to spray me with my own tea, because I will always use it from a place of empowerment. Do you know what I mean? The things that I've been through, I don't hide them. I don't feel ashamed from them. I try to share them with as many people as possible. So David is troubled. And the fact that even when they play that argument back and I saw all the things that he was saying and I wasn't shocked anymore because I had seen that clip so many times, I was like, why are you screaming at her that you're a man of God? The people who do that are so dangerous. They're so scary, because it's like, so now you're trying to retreat to a place that's like beyond reproach, right? Because you're trying to bring Jesus into it. So like, because you are a Christian, now nobody can say anything to you because you're a man of God and everybody sees you in church every Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So now nobody can even talk about your behavior and how terrible it is because you're a man of God. And then when you see that you're losing, it's like war tactic, like he faints. Like he's like, okay, yeah, she got me there. So let me just say, you know what? If David self-eliminating got you love, then I'm so blessed to be a part of your love story. Shut up. Okay? You didn't help. Stop it. Stop trying to take credit. Stop trying to massage your bad behavior into this good outcome. It's craziness. It's craziness to see. And the fact that we all see it, it's like David's one of the people. It's like, so you're just the person that everybody lies on. So everybody just comes around and lies on David. Your ex-wife lies on you. Liz lies on you. Production lies on you. Everybody just lies about David, the man of God, this good person who mentors young people and speaks motivational words on IG Live. Everybody just hates that person so much they just sit around and lie on him. It's like, come on, at what point is the delusion going to end? You say you don't need help, but it's like everybody's telling you that you do, and you're refusing to believe it. Even nephew Tommy saying, can you even see how it could possibly look this way? And you're like, no. So we're not being too hard on David. I think David, by his own testimony, so to speak, when he did the interview with you on this channel, he's not a person who learns these lessons very easily. You know what I mean? Like, even the way that he spoke about his past marriages, the mistakes that he made in that first marriage, I don't think he's the type of person to make the exact same mistake over and over again, but it's like whack-a-mole. You know what I mean? And so I think this is the type of conversation repeated that needs to happen. It will break through one day. Sometimes it's that short-term memory, you can't get it, but that long-term memory, it'll sink in, and he'll wake up one day and just be like, is it me? Yes, it is.
You know what time